There's a part of your mind working behind the scenes every second of every day. It influences the way you interpret the world, the choices you make, the habits you repeat, the people you feel drawn to, and even what you believe is possible for you. This is your subconscious mind. Most people spend their lives focusing on what they consciously want, while unknowingly being controlled by subconscious beliefs that contradict those desires. You might consciously say, I want to be successful, while subconsciously believing people like me never become wealthy. You might say, I want a healthy relationship, while carrying the belief I'm difficult to love. You might dream of freedom while subconsciously associating money with stress, danger, or guilt. And this is where manifestation becomes fascinating. Your subconscious mind doesn't simply listen to what you say you want, it responds to what you repeatedly think, feel, believe, and practice. If you want to change your external reality, one of the most powerful places you begin is by changing the internal programming that influences how you move through the world. Think about how you learn to walk, drive, type, or use your phone. In the beginning, you had to consciously think about every movement. Eventually, repetition turned those actions into automatic behavior. The subconscious works in similar ways with thoughts and beliefs. Every time you repeat a thought, emotional reaction, or behavior, you strengthen a mental pattern. This is why repeated experiences can shape your perception of yourself. If you repeatedly tell yourself that you're unlucky, your mind becomes more likely to notice evidence that confirms it. If you repeatedly tell yourself that opportunities exist everywhere, you may become more attentive to possibilities you previously ignored. The world hasn't necessarily changed overnight. Your perception of the world has changed. And when your perception changes, your decisions change. When your decisions change, your actions change. And when your actions change consistently, your results can change. That is one of the real powers behind manifestation. Your subconscious contains countless beliefs about yourself and the world. Some were consciously chosen, many were not. You may have learned beliefs about money from your parents, beliefs about love from your childhood, beliefs about success from teachers, friends, social media, or your culture. Some of these beliefs empowered you, others quietly limit you. Imagine two people receiving the exact same opportunity. One thinks this could change my life. The other thinks I'm probably not qualified. They'll choose someone else. They'll choose someone better. The opportunity is identical, but the internal programming is different. One applies, the other hesitates. The other gives up. One learns from rejection. The other uses rejection as proof that they were never capable. Eventually, their external lives can look completely different. This is why changing your subconscious beliefs can be so powerful. Your subconscious mind is not a magical genie that can create anything simply because you think about it, but it can profoundly influence what you notice, what you expect, how you behave, and what you repeatedly do. If you constantly reinforce the identity of someone who is incapable, you are likely to behave differently from someone who sees themselves as capable. This is why identity matters so much. Instead of saying, I want to become confident, begin asking, what would a confident version of me believe, tolerate, choose, and do? Then practice those behaviors. Confidence isn't something you have to wait for. You can begin building it through repetition. If you want to reprogram your subconscious, repetition is essential. One positive thought will not erase years of negative conditioning. One affirmation will not instantly transform your identity, but repeated thoughts, emotions, and behaviors can gradually create stronger mental patterns. This is why practice such as affirmations, visualization, journaling, meditation, and intentional self-talk can be useful. The goal isn't to repeat something once and magically expect reality to change. The goal is to repeatedly expose your mind to a new possibility until that possibility begins to feel familiar. For example, instead of constantly thinking I'm always behind, practice I'm learning how to manage my time and move forward consistently. Instead of nothing works out for me, try I'm becoming someone who recognizes opportunities and takes action. Instead of I'm not good enough, practice I can learn, improve, and become better at what matters to me. These statements work best when they are believable enough for you to engage with them and when you support them with real action. Your subconscious responds strongly to mental imagery. When you repeatedly visualize yourself accomplishing a goal, you create a mental representation of the future you want. Close your eyes and imagine your dream life in detail. Where are you? What does your environment look like? What are you doing? Who is around you? How do you carry yourself? How do you feel? But don't stop at imagining the final result. Visualize yourself becoming the person who achieves it. Imagine yourself waking up early, doing the difficult work, having the uncomfortable conversation, saying no when necessary, learning new skills, recovering after failure, taking opportunities, keeping promises to yourself. This is important because your dream life is not only about the destination, it is also about becoming capable of living there. Thoughts matter, but emotions can make those thoughts feel even more significant. Think about how strongly you remember moments connected to intense emotions. Your subconscious learns through experience. This means that when you visualize your future, don't simply create an image. Connect with the feeling. What would it feel like to finally accomplish the goal? What would confidence feel like? What would freedom feel like? What would it feel like to wake up knowing you created the life you are proud of? You are not trying to convince yourself that something has already happened. You are practicing the emotional state associated with the person you want to become. Then bring pieces of that state into your current life. If you want to change your subconscious programming, pay attention to what you repeatedly expose yourself to. Your mind is constantly receiving information. The people you spend time with, the conversations you have, the content you watch, the music you listen to, the accounts you follow, the way you speak about yourself, the environments you spend time in. All of these can influence your mental patterns. These doesn't mean you have to eliminate every negative thought or surround yourself with positivity 24/7. It means becoming intentional. Ask yourself, is what I'm repeatedly consuming reinforcing the person I want to become? If not, make changes. Your environment doesn't determine your destiny, but it can make certain patterns easier to repeat. One of the most powerful things you can do is identify the stories you have been telling yourself. Maybe your story is I always fail, I'm unlucky, I'm not attractive enough, I never have enough money, people always leave, I'm too late, I'm not talented. These statements may feel like facts because you've repeated them so many times, but a thought is not automatically a fact simply because you've had it for years. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? It is universally true. What evidence contradicts it? What would I believe if I had never learned this story? You don't have to replace every negative belief with an unrealistic positive one. You can create a more empowering and accurate belief. I've struggled before, but I can learn. I haven't achieved this yet, but I can take steps toward it. I don't know how this will happen, but I can discover the next step. That is where real transformation begins. Your subconscious changes most powerfully when your thoughts and actions begin agreeing with each other. If you affirm that you're confident but constantly avoid everything that scares you, your behavior sends a different message. If you say you value yourself but repeatedly accept treatment that violates your boundaries, your actions contradict your new belief. If you say you want success but never make time to your goals, your behavior reinforces the old identity. Your actions are evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you create evidence that you can trust yourself. Every time you do something difficult, you create evidence that you are capable. Every time you choose growth over an old pattern, you strengthen your new identity. You are not only thinking your future into existence, you are practicing it into existence. Imagine your mind as a garden. Wherever you repeatedly water has a greater chance to growing. If you constantly water fear, if you water confidence, curiosity, gratitude, discipline, possibility, and self-respect, those patterns can become stronger too. You cannot control every thought that enters your mind, but you can become more selective about which thoughts you repeatedly entrain, reinforce, and act upon. That is the real power. You don't need to control your mind perfectly. You need to become its conscious gardener. Every morning, take a few minutes to connect with the person you are becoming. Ask yourself, what do I want? Who am I becoming? What does the version of me believe? How does the version of me behave? What is one action I can take today that proves I'm becoming that person? Then at night, reflect. What did you do well? What did you fall back into an old pattern? What can you choose differently tomorrow? Do this consistently, not for 3 days, not until you see immediate results, but long enough for you new patterns to become familiar, because the most powerful transformation often happens quietly. One thought, one decision, one habit, one boundary, one courageous action, repeated again and again, until one day you look around and realize that the life you once imagined has started becoming the life you actually live. The power of your subconscious mind isn't that it can magically give you everything you desire. Its power is that it can help shape the internal patterns from which your life is created. Change what you repeatedly focus on, change the stories you tell yourself, change the identity you practice, change your habits, change your actions, and over time, your experience of yourself and the way you interact with the world can change dramatically. Your subconscious has been learning from you your entire life. Now you can start teaching it intentionally. Choose the thoughts you want to strengthen, choose the identity you want to embody, choose the future you want to move toward. Then give your mind the same message every day. This is who I am becoming, and prove it with your actions.